But right now, how did Gold Coaster Dean King go from being jailed at 14 to a self-made millionaire by 30? Despite never going to school, Dean has not only turned his life around from crime, drugs and prison, but has even penned a book about his incredible journey from hardened crim to multi-millionaire. His book is called King Hit, and I caught up with him recently, began by asking how he ended up in a maximum jail as a 14-year-old.
We smoked a lot of pot. And we just used to drive around the back lanes of Balmain and Newtown and Redfern and the inner city suburbs of Sydney. And we used to cut off roofs of cars.
Oh, my gosh.
And just look over the back lanes of people's backyards. And back in the 60s and 70s, people were growing pot everywhere in Sydney. And we would just jump in the backyard and knock off their pot. And we did this one night in a house. And it goes into a lot more detail what happened in the book. It's described a lot more better. Fundamentally, we just went in there to steal his pot. We didn't go in there to hurt anyone. And a guy come out with a baseball bat and he attacked both of us, the two of us. And the guy who had the knife, who was cutting the plants, got in an altercation with him, and unfortunately, he stabbed him to death. But I wasn't even in the backyard when they were having the fight.
Yeah.
And I got found guilty for manslaughter. And what I got found guilty on, this is the most craziest thing. I said in a record of interview with the police, the guy said if anyone would come out, he was going to use the knife. Now, we needed that knife to cut the plants because they were so big. I can't tell you how many times in my life as a kid that I heard somebody say to me, I'm going to kill this bludger if he does this. I'm going to kill this guy if this happens. That was like normal everyday talk in my life. I didn't believe it was going to happen.
How long were you in jail for?
Well, I got 5 years for it. Ended up doing just under 2 years. I went to a place called Mount Penang up in Gosford.
At what point, Dean King on ABC Gold Coast, did you say that's enough? It's time.
Logan House. Because I found the tools to get me out. It was like I was running around all my life with no hardware. The software was all gone in the head. The software was all crazy. Because the hardware, that's the analogy I'm giving, the hardware, it wasn't coinciding with the software. So it was all craziness.
So how were you reprogrammed?
Well, how I was reprogrammed is to talk about how I feel and to have the confidence in that and not lie and be honest and be sincere and to be a genuine human being, to be caring, to be thoughtful, to have dignity, to have morals, to have values. But that hasn't happened overnight, I can assure you. I've been at this stuff now out here for nearly 30 years. All my change, the start of my change happened in 89. So there's been a big period. And even that book, that only goes up to the year 2000 when I had my first kid. So there's so much more that's happened after that.
Literacy, Dean King.
I'm terrible at it.
You never went to school?
Never went to school. In the boys' home, I might have went to school 6 months here and there. Never had any form of education. And I look at that book now, I had help writing it, but I think it's written well.
How did you educate yourself to write?
I learned a long time ago from Logan House, from rehab, because I got 2 ears for a reason and one mouth for a reason. So 2 overrides the 1. So I learned to listen. And I knew if I listened to somebody with the intelligence as a good editor or somebody that knows how to construct a good book in the form of art, because writing is art, and I've learned a lot.
You're a very smart man that made bad choices, let's be honest, back in the day. And you talk about Logan House. How much tough love was there?
I think that's the only love.
Do you?
I really
do you have a family of your own?
Yes, I do. My son is 17, my daughter's 15, and they're beautiful kids. And, of course, that's a biased statement. They've been brought up very, 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 very well. Yeah, I'm a great father, but that's all I ever wanted to be, was a dad and to be loved. That's really that's what it all boils down to. All my life, I just wanted to have a girlfriend and children, live in a home, have a job. You know, that was my ideal, but I didn't have the skill set to do it, I can assure you. Emotionally, I didn't.
You know, I've buried the lead quite a bit here because you actually did, I mean, went through all that stuff that we've talked about at a very young age.
Yeah.
And then you became a self-made millionaire.
I did.
And how did you do that,
Oh, my
Dean?
God. Well, what I did, I had a plan and I saved money. I become disciplined. I put money away. I bought a car. I had a plan after I paid off the car, sell the car. There's $10,000 for a deposit on my first home. And remarkably, or I call it synchronicity, to tell you the truth, when I was already there for this to happen, all these people started coming into my life to help me. I moved into a share accommodation around the corner here in Seagull Avenue with a real estate guru. I meet this guy. And he teaches me everything about negative gearing. He loves me. Me and him, we train every day. We love cars. He's my best friend, and he's my best friend still today, and that's after 30 years.
That's amazing. Look, what do you hope people come away with, Dean? What's your end goal on that front?
That there is hope. It doesn't matter how far down you are in your life or where you are or how bad things are, there is a way out. And you know, it's easy for me sitting here across from you to say the way out is talking. There's talk and there's talk.
Yeah.
There's real talk and there's talk that's not productive. And I learned in Logan House about blaming other people, and I did it all my life in some aspect. You know, when I stopped doing that, when I stopped blaming other people and took accountability for myself, my whole world changed.
You can meet Dean. He's speaking at the Cura Surf Club on Sunday, June 16 at 3 p.m. His book, King Hit. If you'd like some more information on that, it's all the w's.kinghitbook.com. And I can assure you, he is certainly a man who is such a colourful character, and I can assure you will be very entertained. June 16, 3 p.m. Cura Surf Club is where you can meet Dean King and talk to him more about his book.